Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Robert Donaldson, and welcome back to another edition of Rob's Best Bets. And we are once again talking about Major League Baseball here on Saturday. And before we hop into Saturday's picks, oh my gosh, we have to talk about what happened on Friday night, because the Tigers got screwed in the top of the ninth inning. He was clearly safe at home, or at the very least, the call on the floor of the field should have stood where he was being ruled safe, and the Tigers should have had a 4-3 lead going into the bottom of the ninth inning. Heck, they could have even scored another run with a runner on second base in that scenario, but it goes, 3-3, bottom ninth inning, then goes to extras, and in extras, the Tigers were up 5-3 in the top of the 10th, and then the Dodgers end up scoring 2 runs, getting 2 base runners, and then Mookie Betts hits a walk-off 3-run bomb. We're catching 1.5 runs. If he just hits a single, we cover. Oh, totally brutal. It should have been another winning day, but I had to get that venting out because, oh my gosh, our first horrible beat of the MLB season, and it really had everything. It had the worst possible scenario playing out in extra innings. It had a replay that was very controversial in my opinion, and we can't change it. I'm taking a break from betting that series, at least on Saturday. I think I've absolutely kind of earned the right to do so. But with all that being said, we have a fantastic slate here on Saturday for Major League Baseball, and I'm so excited to jump into those picks. But first, we do need to take a second to shout out today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. And if you haven't already signed up using promo code ROBDFB, I highly recommend you do so. We are going to have an Underdog Pick'em entry for Major League Baseball, as well as for the Elite Eight in college basketball as well on Saturday and also on Sunday. So make sure you guys are following me over on Twitter/X so you guys can follow along with that. But with all that being said, I am so jacked and so excited to hop into our first Saturday slate here in the MLB season. All right, first up, we are heading out to that Toronto-Baltimore series where we have Max Scherzer taking the bump against Dean Kramer. And when you look at this matchup here and how Dean Kramer has fared in the Rogers Center in past years, he hasn't really fared that well. And Dean Kramer is a guy that is very, very quote-unquote league average in terms of a lot of different areas. He also kind of bounces back and forth between being a terrible pitcher, being great for stretches, and then just being average for a lot of stretches as well. But when you are going up against the Toronto Blue Jays lineup that I really thought found it on Friday, I wouldn't want to be back in the Dean Kramer side, especially with Max Scherzer on the other side, kind of looking to get in the groove of the season after dealing with some injuries the past couple seasons. And for that reason, let's go ahead and take the Blue Jays on the first 5 money line for 3 units for our first bet here on Saturday. For pick number 2, we are taking a look at that Phillies-Nats game. And when we're looking at Jesus Luzardo versus Jake Irvin, I really do like Jesus Luzardo because when you look back to last year before he got hurt with the Marlins, he was actually posting some really impressive underlying numbers. And I do feel like in a new system, especially going up against a lineup that really finds itself best against right-handed pitching, I think Jesus Luzardo is actually going to have an upper hand against the Nationals here. And when you're looking at Jake Irvin on the other side, he is a guy that the back end of last season really struggled in the hard hit department. And I do feel like the Phillies bats are the perfect lineup to take advantage of a power fastball, young pitcher who struggles in that regard. And for that reason, let's go ahead and lay the half run with the Phillies through the first 5 innings for 2 units for our second bet here on Saturday. For pick number 3, we are heading out to Kansas City, where we have the Royals taking on the Guardians. And when you're looking at this pitching matchup, I totally understand why somebody might feel compelled to bet on the Royals here, because Seth Lugo had a good year last year in terms of the cumulative over the season numbers, and Gavin Williams on the other side has dealt with a lot of issues in his young career. But when you are looking at the underlying numbers, these guys are very similar in the struggling hard hit department. And Kansas City, yes, it can be a tough ballpark for opposing hitters and just hitters in general to get the ball out and to score a lot of runs. But I do feel like in this game, we're catching a lot of value here with an 8.5 line that I don't feel like is truly depictive or truly accurate given the pitchers that are starting on the bump in this game. And for that reason, I say we go ahead and take the over on 8.5 runs here for 3 units for our third bet here on Saturday. For pick number 4, we are taking a look at a matchup here between the Red Sox and the Rangers. And when we're looking at this game here, Walker Buehler is making his season debut with the Red Sox. And even though Walker Buehler is a guy that I've liked to fade in the past, he actually did turn up, a pretty good performance near the back end of last season in the advanced analytics department, in terms of the actual baseball production department as well. And when you look at Malley on the other side, he is a guy that last time we saw him pitch was getting absolutely tagged. And I get it, he was dealing with injuries, but when you're coming off of an injury-plagued season and the first team you're finding or the first lineup you're going up against are the Red Sox, man, I wish you all the best. But let's go ahead and take the Red Sox on the money line here for 3 units for our fourth bet here on Saturday. All right, for our final bet here on Saturday, we are heading out to the Mariners Athletics game, and the Mariners kind of got punked on Friday against the A's, and that was surprising because obviously we were on the team total under for the Athletics, and they ended up scoring 7 runs. They had 12 hits. None of them were really against Luis Castillo. It was more so the Mariners bullpen, but very surprising result. And I do feel like the Mariners have a perfect bounce back spot in them against Oswaldo Bidu. And when you're looking at Bryce Miller on the bump for the Mariners in this game as well, it just feels like a lot of different parts are coming together for a pretty significant Mariners win here. So let's go ahead and lay the 1 run with the Mariners for 3 units. And let's go ahead and lay the full 1.5 runs here with the M's for an additional unit for our final bet here on Saturday. All that being said, I really want to thank you guys for checking out today's video. And if you do want to show some love, make sure you drop a like in the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys comment down below. But with all that being said, y'all, I will see you in a future video. Take it easy.